Goldenberg, who has a long history in this particular industry, the president of Strength Tech, a local company, and you've worked with Quebec, St. Louis, the Chicago Blackhawks, the Colorado Avalanche, the Quebec Nordiques, Team Canada back in '91. I did a fitness video with Gary Roberts. This is obviously your field. Let's talk a little bit about the things that are different for hockey players. When you're devising a workout program or a training program for someone who is an office worker, obviously it's different from providing the kind of strength training and conditioning that you need to be a professional hockey player.
Right. Well, Dean, a lot of people who are involved in sports and maybe also an office worker, the main thing they like to work on when they get in the gym is their arms, their chest, their shoulders, abdominals. That's important. But with regards to hockey and sport-specific training, we try and work on like the core area of the body. We like to work on the abdominals, the back, the glutes, the quads, the hamstrings, but not as separate muscle groups, but as a complex movement type of muscle group, like working as one, because when they're on the ice performing, they're always performing as one. So we don't like to isolate specific muscles. We like to do large, complex movements to train people that way.
Oftentimes in hockey, you hear so much about hamstring injuries and groin injuries. They are impossible to avoid, but what can you do to help players try and lessen the occurrence of things like hamstring and groin injuries?
Well, it has to do with preparation. Sometimes, there could be a biomechanical problem inside with regards to where the tendon is actually attached, and that can only be corrected by surgery sometimes. But performing like sport-specific programs where we perform what we call closed chain exercise, where the foot is in contact with the ground when we do the type of exercise, we were just talking about isolating muscles. You used to see people on the old novice machine where they, do their inner and outer thigh type movement. Well, that's great, and it works the thigh and it works the groin, but it doesn't work in a sport-specific pattern. Most injuries occur when the foot is in contact with the ground, so that's how we want to train those muscles, the hamstring and the groin, when the foot's in contact with the ground. So as it would be termed as therapists would term it, as a closed chain exercise. So that way the muscles are working together, and the chance of injuries is lowered.
Hockey players generally, as we see Dennis Vial pedaling in the background, oftentimes don't spend very much time at all running, but they spend an awful lot of time on the bikes. Why is that?
Yeah. Well, the bike is more muscle specific. When you see somebody running, there's a little bit of hip flexion, but there's a lot of plantar flexion of the ankle where they're toeing off the ground. And there's not a lot of that in hockey because of the design of the boot. And there's a lot of extension with the quadricep muscle and of the glutes as they're following through in their skating stride. And the bike provides more of a sport-specific stimulus to the quadricep muscle when we cycle, and that's the reason behind it. You've
probably been asked this a million times, but the people in soccer say that their athletes have to be in the best shape. There's people who say that weightlifters have to be in the best shape. An elite level hockey player, an NHL level hockey player, where would you rate the conditioning they need to be in to do their job, as opposed to some of the other sports where people say you have to be in great overall physical shape just to play?
Well, hockey is very demanding because it encompasses all the different aspects of physical fitness training methods, that being what we call lactate type training or anaerobic alactic type training. The short, powerful bursts, the lactate ones are where like the 30-second, 45-second type bursts. And then the oxygen system, your aerobic system, is also very important because when they're on the bench recovering from that work, if you don't have a good oxygen system, then you can't recover properly. So the demands are quite high actually with regards to hockey. So we like to see players coming in with VO2s 60 milliliters per kilogram of body weight, and about 5 to 6 years ago, we only required them to come in around 55, so that the demands of the game have definitely increased over the last couple of years.
Lorne, thanks for the time.
Thank you, Dean.